you just stopped and took a deep breath and realized you have exponential access to more resources than I ever had in the beginning. I was just a guy who thought I was a good marketer, because I was, who wanted to be in the health business.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Ed O'Keefe here, and welcome to another edition of our Ed O'Keefe Show. Today, I'm going to take you behind the scenes of my health supplement intensive, where we talk about the power of bridging the gap from where you want to be to where you want to go with key relationships and properly aligned relationships. Most business owners and most entrepreneurs, most self-made people, as they go out there in the world, are doing networking and all these other silly things very haphazardly. And so one of the things I like to challenge people to do is to and at the end of the year, it's always good to do this, but intentionally seek out the models, the mentors, and the people that you like to acquire specific skill sets from or get certain wisdom from on the front side. You'll hear in this episode how specifically me having some wrong relationships cost me a ton of money. And on the flip side of that, though, I really can't say there's ever been a self-made. I've never really done anything self-made, because everything has been the collaboration and synergistic efforts of taking what I do, whether it's with my team internally or with people outside, and bringing it to the world through relationships. So that's it. One other key point as to why this little episode is very, very important is that I go over what I call no man's land. And I really want you to hear it, because it's made one of the most significant differences in my life with being okay going from where you are now today to where you're going to be in the next year at an accelerated rate. So that's it. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to talking to you on the next episode. So enjoy this today, guys. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
So let's get going here. So I want to talk to you about just the opportunity and the things I was thinking of. Why did I go into the health supplement business? Yeah, remember, when I was in the dental market, the business was me. I was doing coaching calls. I was speaking a lot. I had to write a couple newsletters. I had to do, all these. I was the guy. And that was cool. I made decent money. We did okay, had a great life. But I wanted to have, I think there's always a couple things that, unconsciously you might think about, which is like, do I really have what it takes? I'm a marketing expert to go out and build something that is a real product. That was one. Number two was, there has to be a better way to do this. And so I wanted to go find that opportunity. Now, what I didn't realize was that on that journey, the health market in the CPA market, in the affiliate world, is filled with a lot of sharks, man. I mean, if you go in there naively and blind, you can literally lose a ton of money very, very rapidly, and everybody will high-five you on the way of doing that. They'll be like, "You are killing it, bro. You are just scale that thing, buddy. Scale it." And you'll be like, "All right, man, I am." And then you go back and you talk to your CFO, and they'll be like, "What are you doing?" Like, "We're killing it." And they'll be like, "You really are. You are killing this business." And you'll be at the cocktail party at, traffic conversion, and I'll tell you the funniest story. I was in Vegas at it was one of the affiliate summits or something like that. I don't know how to play blackjack, but I'll go sit there and I'll just. Every time I don't know, like there's a few rules I do know, I'll go, "Oh yeah, hit me," and then when I don't know, I just look at the dealer and go, "What's the house say?" "Okay, cool, yeah, all right, yeah." And then I just sit there and maybe have a few drinks, and I think I'm cool for a couple hours. But there was two guys sitting right next to me, and they're talking, their face, whatever, and they're talking to me. They're like, "Oh, you got your own offer?" And this is, I didn't even write about this early in the report. This is after kind of my disaster story of where I got scammed by all the fraud and whatever. And I launched another product called Life Cleanse, which I'll share with you in a moment, which was a wholesale diet and cleanse product. It was running break even with a little bit of loss for like 10 months. Well, a little bit of loss over 10 months, you lose money. But anyhow, these guys were like sitting right there. What's up, Nick? How you feeling, man? Nick Coates from ClickBank. Famous guy. So I'm telling them as I'm playing, I'm like, yeah, well, I lost a ton of money because I had affiliates putting fake credit cards through my thing. Kid you not, listen to this. So you guys all read the report or heard the story, right? So what happens, I launched my free trial offer. I was ready for retirement because we were doing like 120 sales a day, and I was so happy until none of the rebills actually went through, right? It turns out it was just all either stolen credit cards or fake credit cards or some crap like that. And I lost my merchant account. Commissions were already paid out. It was pretty much a disaster. But it was because these affiliates had teams in China, Russia, or wherever that would put all these credit cards through. So I'm sitting there playing blackjack. I'm telling these guys this story. And they're like, well, you have your own offer. Can we go direct with you? And I was like, all right, cool. And I'm like, yeah, man, I got burned so bad last time. I had all these affiliates. These guys were like, oh, yeah, we got teams in. They're like, I got a team in Russia. Our guy's like, I got a team in China. And they're like, can we be affiliates for you? And it was in the same 2 sentences. And they had no conscious realization that they were literally saying, we want to run your offer, but we happily steal every day from affiliates. It just didn't matter, right? And then, not to like kind of like burn bridges for more people, but it's like in August, you guys all paid to hear this stuff, right? So I went to an event in San Diego with 2 guys that were like claimed to do 40 grand a day. They had their own network. They were doing whatever, and I'm sitting there because I'm like a leapfrogger. So I end up getting into the circles I want to be in. So, and I'm always curious, like, what's behind the scenes? Besides a ton of pot smoking going on, they're all sitting there, and they're like, they ran their own network, and like the head of their network, just a dude, probably 20 years old, is like, yeah, I don't give a shit if any of these guys run fraud. That's on the advertiser. F those guys. Drinking and smoking. Are you kidding me? These are the guys that are charging $3 grand a head out there to 500 people who are putting them on the like thing. So that's the kind of stuff like I started like getting this awakening of like this shit's really going on, you know? Sorry for the swearing. I'll back off a little bit. I know like all my Christian buddies are gonna come and like throw water on me and I'm gonna get beat up or something in the bathroom by other guys. I'm kidding. So what's that? Kind of. So, but who's ever heard of the book Swim with the Sharks, How to Get Eaten Alive? Harvey McKay, right? So what he's talking about there, if you ever read his book, it's funny. He actually, like all the stuff you're hearing about how to like actually get best-selling books, he wrote about in this was a guy who just was all about relationships. And so the reason I want to share this with you, like out of the gate, is like in this room, if you just stopped and took a deep breath and realized you have exponential access to more resources than I ever had in the beginning. I was just a guy who thought I was a good marketer, because I was, who wanted to be in the health business. And I was naive and I was whatever, but I consider those positive attributes if you're with the right people, right? And so I didn't have products, I didn't have copy, I didn't have merchant accounts, and then I lost all my merchant accounts. You know, so like everything that's in this room, you have more than where I was by a landslide. And the other thing is that with Facebook, with Pinterest, with Twitter, with native content, with publicity, there's so many more ways if you have something of value to get out of the gate inexpensively and virally than there was, 6.5, 7 years ago. There's more opportunity now than ever before. So the question that I wanted to ask you, though, is how, like going back to the Harvey McKay thing, is how do I create the right relationships to leap where I want to be, right? And the fact of the matter is there's this thing that I did that I think that was the biggest mistake I made. Now, you want to know what it was? When I figured out how to get the conversion rate right and the average transaction size right and I was finally making money in the health supplement business. Instead of doing this and surrounding myself with 50 complete amazing people, I got scared and I stopped talking to people. And I went internal. I was like, I can't tell anybody. Well, guess what, guys? Just for you, so you all know, with all the research tools we're going to show you today, there's really nowhere to hide. You know? And unless you're going to like lock in your media buyers and put them on some kind of non-disclosure agreement where they can't talk, and you're going to like, it's really not there. So what I would like to challenge your thinking, if you came into it thinking like, oh my God, I can't tell anybody anything I'm doing, I'm going to say you're just wrong, because I did that. And what it does is it sticks you on an island where you're trying to like make all this magic happen by yourself. And here's the fact of the matter. Everything that you do that starts to work at some point will stop working. And if you decide not to have that network of relationships that are constantly testing things and moving forward, where do you go? You know, and now you're just reaching, you're trying things, and so anyhow, my belief system is that it's not necessarily the knowledge you're going to learn this weekend that's going to get you where you want to go faster. It's going to be the relationships that are going to help you get out there faster. And so my belief system is that when you're going on this journey, you're going to end up in a little no man's land trying to figure stuff out, and the best way to get through no man's land is with higher level people who are thinking at the top and are generously moving you along. And I'm going to hit this a little further. So billionaire co-founder Peter Thiel, co-founder of PayPal, said, 10 minutes with the right person can be worth lifetimes of doing it yourself. And when I heard that quote, it almost made me like it just hit me like in the like a brick wall, because what was happening was guess what I was doing? I was waking up every day, just grinding through my list, getting stuff done. Well, what if you stop and you just seriously looked at that question of what relationships do I need in order to leapfrog forward, and you just stop doing stuff for 30 minutes, an hour, and you just ask that question. And the secondary question behind that is going to happen, which is, how do I create value for those relationships? So before I need anything, how do I create value for them? And then what's going to happen is this reciprocity of awesomeness is going to accelerate you to where you want to go, okay? And it kind of goes to the Napeleon. Maceo and I talked about on the phone on this a little bit. Raise your hand if you heard the whole Mastermind story of Napeleon Hill, right? Everybody in the room, right? He talks about how all the billionaires, the wealthiest men in the world, had a mastermind. The challenge is that we talk about mastermind like it's nothing anymore. And so a mastermind, on what it's supposed to be, is kind of what I call like men in the shower together. And I'll explain a little bit. For women, just back off for a second. It'll all come full circle. So when I went to college, I played college volleyball, and some of my best relationships ever are from my college. Those are my best friends. I'm sure you guys have relationships like too, like where once you're back together, it's like you just you take off exactly from where you were. And it's like, hey, remember that time and you tell the same stupid story that you've already laughed hysterically over. And haven't you ever wondered why we don't just get on Skype and like sit there and have a six-pack together like virtually over Skype? Kind of doesn't make any sense, I guess. But anyhow, one of the things that I think did it was that is that, traveling on a bus, playing volleyball together, is that after we competed, what did we go do? We went in the shower together. This might sound strange, I know. So what I meant by this is that there's no more pretending you're something you no longer are. Like guys use the whole alpha whatever, oh I'm so big, whatever, as little kids. No, dude, I saw you in the shower. You're not that big. So quit it. Okay? And you should have seen this. I used to tell these jokes to dentists, and I had to wait to the second day because they didn't get any jokes the first day. So you guys are already laughing a lot more than them. I had to tell them what it feels like to have a sense of humor and emotion. Trust me, you should try and speak to that group. So what my point was is that until you're naked in the shower together, you really don't know each other. So no, we're not going to shower. None of that. But what I mean by it is like a true mastermind is a mastermind where you actually say, these are my biggest weaknesses, or this is my biggest struggle, and the guy across from you can call you out on it. And that's good. Like, dude, you know what your biggest pattern is or what your problem is? What's that? Every time you start feeling success, you sabotage yourself. Well, how do you do that? Oh, man, I don't know. Well, I don't know. What am I supposed to do? Well, then your mastermind there to lift you up. And it's not just this something that you go on a Facebook forum and you guys just share a new tool that came out on Twitter last night, and now everyone's like, wow, that's it. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to go get distracted for the next 90 days trying to figure out this new next breakthrough, right? So I'm not saying Facebook groups are bad, but they can be distraction patterns, right? And so that's the master. So what I really want to do, if you ever came to my house, like in Chicago, I was being interviewed on a podcast yesterday, and they asked the silliest questions, like, here's the lightning round. What was your favorite movie of all time? And I'm like, dude, the last podcast I was on just asked me the same question. You guys need to stop being in the same forum because you're all asking the same lightning round questions. But I changed my answer. I said a different movie. You know, I said, remember that movie Outsiders? Johnny Boy, was it? Pony Boy? Oh, man, that's good stuff. Anyhow, he asked me, well, what should someone do if they're in Chicago? And I said, they should come visit my family. Just popped right in my mouth. And I honestly mean that. Like, you should. Just come in our backyard and hang out. And then if my brothers are there, you won't leave till like 2 a.m. It'll be great, you know. But I want to create that environment where you feel like you are in an environment where you can be a little vulnerable to share, like, here's our biggest problems. This is not the time to be like, hey, here's everything we're getting right, and that's all you share. Like, you need to say, hey, we can't figure this stuff out. And if this group can figure that out and switch that off, this will be a magical couple days. If we don't, it'll still be good, but it just won't get that magic component. Couple more things before we take a quick break. John Scully, who knows who John Scully is, right? So he's got some good stuff. He's got a book called Moonshot out that I really recommend, Moonshot, and it's just all about billion-dollar thinking. And he talks about how innovation always occurs first on the edges of established industries. If you have only the one domain expertise that makes your company successful, you can easily become blindsided. What's my point on this? So I was looking through some of your applications and some of the things you're doing. There are guys, like we got a direct mail business. We have a newspaper business. We have guys in TV. We have guys that are in that are just killing it on Pinterest. There's innovations happening. There's people that are just doing pure content businesses that are just adding supplements. I mean, there's some really cool things going on. I think what could be really powerful is if we don't try to look at what I just did with Marine D3 and try to replicate that, it'll get us a similar outcome, but I think there's a lot more guys doing that now. I think the innovation is going to be, there's something great going to pop out of this group that's on the cusp of it. Like, so you all know Dollar Shave Club, right? So you looked at that. You look at Plated. You look at some of these other businesses that are like 3 degrees off of our market. There are breakthroughs I think they're doing. Now, they might have some different business models that you got to look at, but I think we got to keep open to that, right? And I have speakers that are going to talk about that as well. You know, look at the, Peter Diamandis talks about what we have coming over the next so many years is what he calls the rising billion, which is 3 to 5 new billion consumers who have never purchased anything, never uploaded anything, and never invented and sold anything are about to come online and provide a mega surge to the global economy. Look at that. I mean, look at the amount of people coming. Now, when you combine that with what I call media expansion and splintering, who's ever read the book The Long Tail? Anyone ever read it? Okay, Long Tail talks about how, it's like, what, 5 or 6 years old, but it talked about how once iTunes came along, all of a sudden, records and books, I guess I'll just stick with records. I could make up books here in a second. But from like the 1970s, all of a sudden started seeing sales again. And all of a sudden, overall sales of music on iTunes exponentially grew. Why? Because of this thin slicing, meaning you can go out and pick and choose what it is you want that's customized to you. And you have consumer choice, right? So I believe that the splintering of these medias is actually the biggest opportunity that we've ever had, because on all these platforms, so Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, YouTube, you could go find an offer that's working on Facebook right now and just simply, I don't want to say copy it, but you can model it 99%, well, 96%. Who's my attorney in the room for the week? Vinny? Okay. Whatever Vinny says on the percentage of modeling you can do.
This episode is sponsored by Marine D3. If you want 24-hour antioxidant protection while giving your brain, eyes, heart, and overall energy a jolt of long-lasting nourishment, then Marine D3 is for you. This is my number one top-selling health product that I've sold over 500,000 bottles, and right now, 80% of our sales come from repeat customers. Marine D3 can flood your cells with an abundance of new antioxidants and nutrients that fights and repairs damage done to the cells during exercise, everyday living, and the natural breakdown that occurs as we age. After 15 years of research and over $39 million spent on clinical studies, a renowned biochemist has found one of the world's greatest antioxidants. It's called CNLP, hiding deep below the ocean surface. I took CNLP, combined it with a little-known omega-3 called calamine, as well as vitamin D3, so that you can get maximum benefit all in one supplement. I'd like to give you the first bottle absolutely free. I just ask that you pay shipping and handling. At edokeefeshow.com/free bottle, I'll have a mini presentation that will share more about the supplement and why people are raving about it. Most importantly, it'll show you exactly how you can get it shipped out to you today, just for shipping and handling. This episode is brought to you by Dormant Forces Insider. If you would like monthly big business breakthroughs, insider marketing strategies that actually work, and mindset secrets of multimillionaires sent directly to your door so you can have it in your hands and you can apply them, then this is for you. Now, you can test drive my Dormant Forces Insider Silver membership for just 1 month free. If you love it, we know you'll stay with it and let it keep you in the loop of what's working inside my businesses and the other dozens and dozens of businesses that I mentor. Why would you go at it all on your own when you can use other people's experience than just replicate what works? Anyhow, right now you can test drive the membership for just $1 plus a few bucks shipping and handling by going to edokeefeshow.com/dormant forces. That's edokeefeshow.com/dormant forces.